everyone around here wants to know, the first question is obvious, right? Why do you hate the Golden State Warriors?
You know what's interesting? You know, I've been on television for 16 years, and I've said the exact same thing for 16 years. I'm not big on jump shooting teams. And the one year you guys have a terrific season, you think y'all took it personally. The teams aren't going small. They just need quality big men. What the Golden State Warriors did was terrific. But I don't think you're going to see a bunch of, well, if you can get guards like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, you got a better chance of playing small ball. But I don't think the NBA all of a sudden is going to have a bunch of three-point shooters and playing a bunch of small lineup.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff here with Never Enough Ball. Today we're going to take a look at an old NBA cliche, best publicized by Charles Barkley. Chuck is famously outspoken, so you may be wondering which of his many claims we'll be examining. In this case, it's the claim that jump shooting teams don't win championships. A fundamental bedrock of the basketball analytics movement, and one that took surprisingly long to appreciate, is that 3 points are worth more than 2. This fact has led to NBA teams putting a higher emphasis on 3-point shooting and players working harder to hone that skill. So often, Chuck picks on jump shooting in general, with the implication being you need a big man, or at the very least, you need your points to come in the paint. This video isn't to pick on Chuck. He's just a poster boy for the line of thought. Many retired players have made similar statements, with the undertone being that today's game is soft. Lucky for us, the NBA started taking detailed shot location data in the 96-97 season. With that data, we can see just how much the Warriors differed from their predecessors. Were the Warriors first of their kind, or simply a better version of what came before? To help quantify this, let's look back at the numbers of every team that has won an NBA championship since the 96-97 season. To solve for changes in pace between eras, we'll look at the percentage of team shots, not the number of shots. We're looking at jump shots and non-jump shots. So in other words, shots from within 10 feet and those beyond 10 feet. This helps determine if the championship-winning 2015 Warriors were the fluke that Chuck claims, or just part of the evolution that basketball has experienced for years, albeit a flashy one. The following chart shows every NBA champion since 1997. You can see their percentage of jump shots taken. Take a moment and think about who goes where. The Warriors must be at the top of the list, right? Let's start by taking a quick look at the bottom of this chart. You'll see only 4 teams are non-jump shooting teams, if defined by the most basic measurement of where the majority of their shots come from. Who could these be? You think with how Chuck talks, it would be the late 90s teams. You have Michael and Scottie, relentless in their attacks to the basket. Okay, turns out it's not them. Instead, we see teams featuring the best 2 big men of the last 30 years, Shaq and Tim Duncan. I suppose that isn't too surprising. How about LeBron? He's a power wing who has no issues getting to the rim. Though he was long derided for not posting up enough, settling too often, and not embracing his physicality, the fact remains, 2 of his championships do come in what we'll call the LeBron post-up era, when he has been more than willing to post up helpless defenders for easy points in the paint. Okay. So it looks like most of his teams actually fall somewhere in the middle of the pack. Okay, now for the fun part. The most picked on NBA champion by Chuck and his counterparts. The team that revolutionized the game. Whether you're a 9-year-old or a 9-to-5 weekend warrior, you've tried to emulate Steph in some way. YMCA pickup basketball will never be the same. Let the air balls fly. The Warriors must take the most jump shots, right? Hold up. You're telling me that the Warriors, these revolutionaries, were basically middle of the pack over the last 23 years when it comes to jump shooting frequency? Lucky for Chuck, the bottom of the list is still mostly empty. we can finally slot in the Bulls. The dynasty that vanquished Chuck in the finals, he played against them. He must know they live in the paint. You're seeing what I'm seeing. The Bulls were a jump shooting team. They shot the second and fifth most jump shots of any champion since 1997. It took over 20 years for the Bulls to relinquish their jump shooting crown. The 97 Bulls were not eclipsed until the 2018 Warriors came around. Oddly enough, the Jordan Bulls and the KD Warriors are often spoken of as the best teams of all time. As one last data point, let's look at non-3-point jump shots specifically. So this would be all shots between 10 feet and the 3-point line. Maybe it just seems like the Warriors' historical volume is high because they shoot a lot more than their current day competitors. Well, in what turns out to be a trend, Chuck looks to be wrong again. The 2015 Warriors were below league average in this category, while the 97 Bulls led the league and the 98 Bulls were fifth in the league. A quick side note worth mentioning is that the 97 Bulls played with a 22-foot 3-point line, the same distance that the NCAA currently uses. This capped the end of a 3-year NBA experiment to implement a shorter 3-point line. The hope was that the shorter distance would increase scoring, but it actually did the opposite. It resulted in more congested lanes and lower scoring games. When it's all said and done, talent is what wins championships. That helps explain why this year, the 3 teams with the highest title odds are led by the NBA's 3 best players, Kawhi, Giannis, and LeBron. A superstar is essentially the cost of admission to be a contender. Of those teams, though, the team that best utilizes the jump shot to both score and free up every other part of the floor will likely be the one to lift the Larry O'Brien Trophy in Orlando. And to Chuck, we say thanks for being the most entertaining voice in the game. It just would have been nice if you had paid a little more attention in your heyday and realized that jump shots have always won championships.